Okay, let's have a look how we would build a local area network in Packet Tracer. So to build a local area network, we need a few PCs. So we'll drag it up for 3, but we could do 4, 5, 6, 10, however many we wanted. So we've got a whole bunch of PCs. Now we know the PCs, when we look at the PCs, oh sorry, I lost that one there by deleting it. When we look at the PCs, we know the PCs have got this network interface card, this RJ45. And we want to connect them together. So to connect them together, what we do is we use a switch. So a switch is a device like this one here, which, if we have a look at it, has got lots and lots of RJ45 connections on, and we plug each PC directly into the switch. So it's the start of our network. Go for our cables, we want Ethernet straight through cables, which are these ones here, and basically we plug in to whichever port we want to on the switch. So just connect all the fast Ethernets together. Now you may be thinking at this stage, well hang on a minute, I've got a network at home and I don't have a switch like this. Well, let's have a look at the device that you're likely to have at home. It's probably going to be something like this one here. So just pop it here. This here is a Linksys WRT300N, and you can see it's got these 4 ports on here that you plug your PCs into at home. Well, in fact, behind these 4 port set is a switch. This is actually a 4-port switch, which is part of the router. So if you only had 4 computers to connect together, which is typically what you might have at home, then you could use this. But if you have more, then one of these can come out and connect to a switch, like we've got on here. And what we would do then is take our cable from the switch, connect into there. So we're just out of interest to see if this is going to go wrong or not, because technically we're connecting a switch to a switch. Okay, so in the real world this may well work because the switches are quite clever and actually would work out that, that it's a switch to a switch, and you're meant to use a special cable. It looks like it's not going to work in Packet Tracer. So in Packet Tracer I actually need to use a crossover cable when I connect a switch to a switch, and hopefully that'll come up in a minute. Just give it a little chance. It can take up to 30 seconds because this is a professional switch here and it's actually testing the network at the moment to make sure that there's no loops or anything like that. So this is a basic star-based network. A lot of people seem to think that you have to have a server at the center of a star network. That's definitely not the case. You just have a switch here at the center of the star network. Now to see some traffic on here, what we need to do is actually make this connect somewhere. So typically your LAN could go from here and out to the internet, or what we could do just to see what's going on is we can use a server. So we'll put a web server on our network as well, and let's connect our web server. It just plugs in, just another device on our network, plug it into any old port like that. Now the issue we've got here is we'd have to manually go around and give each of these devices an IP address if we were setting it up. Well, the reason I actually chose this Linksys router here is on the Linksys router, if we go to the graphical user interface, you should be able to see that we've actually got a DHCP server running on here which is enabled, and this should be giving everybody IP addresses 192.168.0.100 onwards. So each of these PCs, if we hover over it, look at the Ethernet address. Well, it's not got one yet. The reason is we haven't switched on DHCP. So if we go into the config and fast Ethernet, switch on DHCP there. It's not quite like this on a Windows machine, but it's similar. You find this in the network control panel. Let's just go and switch on DHCP on each of these. Fast Ethernet, DHCP. fast Ethernet DHCP. And I don't even notice it actually came in that one while we were actually on it. Fast Ethernet DHCP, watch it pop in here, there we go, 103. Okay, so if you look at the IP addresses now, that's got 100, that's got 101, that's got 102, that's got 103. So these, it doesn't matter what IP addresses they get, as long as they get a unique one when they join. The server, however, we want to know what IP address that is, so we won't allow it to choose its own. We'll make this 192.168.0. Now we've got to choose one below 100 so that it's unique, and we'll give it the address 10. Oh, sorry, I'm not in the right area here. I should be here. Static 192.168.0.10. Get it the right mask. There we go. So here's our basic LAN network. Star topology, switch at the centre, bunch of PCs, a router which would be our way out to the rest of the internet. The router's running DHCP, so all these devices get an address. And here is the web server where our data is stored, so we can see what happens if we go onto the PC, go to desktop web browser and put in 192.168.0.10, and yes, we get the web page. Again, what's quite interesting, if we go for simulation mode, we're just looking for HTTP traffic, and we'll do the same with a different PC this time, see what happens. Desktop web browser 192.168.0.10. Hit go. Let's see what happens as we run our simulation now. So the IP packet is there, goes down into the switch and goes up to the web server, comes back from the web server to the switch, and is obviously switched back to the right PC, and hey presto, the web page will have arrived there. So remember, the switch is quite clever because it can look at the addresses on this LAN. It looks at the MAC addresses and it switches it to the right device. Notice how that is different if we were to go and use a hub device. So if I go to hubs, which are here, I'm just going to bring up a generic hub. I'm going to delete the switch. I'm going to put a hub in the middle now. So a hub is still the center of our star network. Got to wire this up just in the same way. So fast Ethernet, it's not quite got as many ports, not that that matters. Wire each of these up, putting it into its own unique port. It doesn't matter which one you put them into to make it work. Fortunately there are 6 ports, so we've just got enough to make this work. And finally remember to do this one with a crossover because it's effectively switch to switch. Okay, so there is our basic network. Apart from now we've got a hub in the middle. So what difference does the hub make? Remember, the hub is an unintelligent device. The switch was intelligent and knew where to send the IP packets as they came through. The hub, however, isn't intelligent. Now we're just waiting for this link to come up, because at the moment the PCs, if you look, have got this weird 169 address. Okay, so now the wireless router is connected. Let's just have a quick look at the IP addresses. There we go, 100, 101, 102, 103. Let's get into simulation mode, and let's just have a look at what happens again. Let's choose a different PC this time, one that we haven't done before. Go to the desktop, go to the web browser. Sorry, it was 192.168.0.10, and hit go. Let's have a look what happens now when we send the packet in. don't know what happened then, maybe I missed it. Right, 10. Let it go. There it is. So there's our packet. It's a HTTP packet. It's going from 102 to 10. So obviously a web request. Let's see what happens when it goes in now. And there you go, it hit the hub and it had to go everywhere. You can see that all of these destinations ignore it. This is the only one that picked it up. Why? Because it had the right MAC address on for the web server. So the web server now gets that packet and processes it, sends it back to the hub. What does the hub do? It's a dumb device, so away it sends it to everybody again, and everybody ignores it apart from the one that it was destined to. So that's the basic difference between a hub and a switch.